Hi, I'm Sophie, and I have a lot of stacks of books on the ground that I want to get out of my house. Throughout the year in 2025, I've been collecting books on my desk that I had finished reading and that I didn't want to keep. So it's January 2026 now, so it's time to get rid of these. I said I've read all of these. Some of these I have disliked, but most of them I still enjoyed. But I don't have the space to keep every book I liked on my shelf, so I have to be very hard on myself and get rid of the books that I know I will not be rereading. So if you have enjoyed some of these, or if these are your favorites, I'm so happy for you. Everyone's taste is different in books, so that's just a little disclaimer. There will be a few in here that I will probably rant about, but I will try to keep it short. I will try to not get on a tangent. There are 26 books here, so let's get into it. Starting off with an unpopular opinion already. Quicksilver by Callie Hart. Guys, this was one of my worst books of the year. And it's so popular and everyone's giving it 5 stars, and I feel like I've read a different book. Do you ever get that feeling that you just read a completely different book than everyone else because you just don't get what everyone's loving about it? That's Quicksilver for me. I find it so boring. I have this problem with fae romantasy. I'm starting to discover that that's just not my kind of romantasy. Where the fae aren't fae for me. And that problem has started with Sarah J. Maas. I feel this has been inspired by Sarah J. Maas, like a lot of fae romantasy has been. They're not fae, they're just elves. They're elves, okay? They're elves, they're not fae. Or they're wizards with pointed ears. And that's just not my vibe, so I also didn't find this book very original. So yeah, it has to go. It does solve a problem, because I really don't like the new covers they did for Brimstone. So I don't have the problem where my copy of Brimstone won't fit my copy of Quicksilver. So problem solved, just getting rid of Quicksilver. The next book is The Book Eaters. I had this one on my shelves for a few years and finally read it in 2025. It sounded good. It's about these kind of monsters who eat books to survive, but then some of them are mind eaters and they have to eat minds to survive. And it's about a mother with a son who is a mind eater, who's been on the run for a long time, trying to protect her son because even the book eaters don't want mind eaters to exist. It sounded very interesting, but in execution it was just mediocre. It was fine, but I have to say that I don't even remember a lot about this book anymore, and it's not that long ago that I've read it. That will be true for a lot of these, I feel like. Like, they were fine when I read them, but they're not memorable, so I won't be able to tell you a lot about them. So yeah, The Book Eaters also going out of my house. Oh, the next one. Okay, try not to rant here, but it's a non-fiction book about mindfulness. And this is just a me thing. I tried to follow a mindfulness course in 2025 and I stopped after a few lessons. I read the book and I really didn't like the approach. So that's really just a me thing. I think this will be a book for a lot of people, just not for me. The next book that I have here is a Dutch book, Leve, de Keizer. It's a fantasy book, YA fantasy, that I was very excited about when I got it, because the setup is that there's this country where magic is forbidden, and our main character obviously discovers that she has magic. And most of these kind of stories, the main character, when they discover they have magic, they to hide it and stuff like that. But this main character, she goes to the authorities and she turns herself in, because she thinks she's convinced that the government will help her heal her magic. But obviously that's not true. She gets sent to this camp that's horrible. It kind of feels like a concentration camp. So that setup really intrigued me. It also has Arrow Ace representation, which was something I looked forward to, because that's something you don't see a lot of in Dutch fantasy. or in fantasy in general. Execution of this just felt a little bit flat for me. There a lot of terrible things happen in this book, but I feel like they didn't really have an emotional impact. I think it was just also too short. So yeah, unfortunate, because I was really looking forward to this and I thought I would love it, but kind of felt flat. The next one, I am very sad about it. I'm getting rid of this because it's a Waterstones exclusive and I think it's gorgeous. But I gave it 3.5 stars. I didn't hate it or anything. Like I said, I only want the books I've read on my shelves to represent my reading taste, to be like things I really love, things I know I want to reread. This was fine. And that's Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. Like, this is... I really like these edges. So I'm sad to see it go. I bought this book after I've only read The Atlas 6, which I really enjoyed by Olivia Blake. So I thought, okay, I'm going to read more of her books, and I saw this exclusive edition and I picked it up. It took me a couple of years to get to it, and at the point that I read it, I had already read the Atlas Paradox and the Atlas Complex, and I think a lot of people will agree with me that that series kind of went downhill. I haven't seen a lot of people really enjoy the Atlas Complex, so I've unhauled the entire trilogy. So when I started to read this, I was already a bit like, not so sure about Olivia Blake anymore. This one was fine. Didn't love it, didn't hate it. It's not a fantasy book. It's a contemporary, little bit literary fiction about two people with mental health struggles that find each other. I would say fall in love, but it's not really a romance. Don't expect this to be a romance novel. It's very character driven, and I did like the characters, also appreciated the mental health representation. But if I have to be honest, I don't even remember how this book ended, so that's saying something. I'm not sure anymore if Olivia Blake is the author for me. I thought she would be when I read the Atlas 6, but now I'm starting to doubt that, because her writing style... I don't know, she does weird things sometimes. It's unnecessary wordy. At the beginning of this book, in the first part, there's like, some parts of it are written like it's a theater play, but I didn't really get why, especially because it's not throughout the entire book. The character we're reading a POV of has nothing to do with theater, so that felt very random to me. My light hasn't been off. Okay, that's probably better. If not really interested in reading more from Olivia Blake, the only one I have on my radar is Girl Dinner. I want to try that one, but if that's also mediocre, I think I might be done with her. Next up we have Persephone Station, also a book that had been on my shelves for years. It's a sci-fi space opera book. That's just also another one where I just thought it was boring. Don't have a lot to say about this one. Didn't really like anything about it, really. Didn't particularly like the characters. Didn't really enjoy the plots that much. There were some interesting things with his alien ways, but we didn't get a lot of it. So I really wanted more world building from this book. So I was disappointed. It's a queer space opera book, but I don't think I would recommend it to a lot of people, actually. Next up we have a classic that I'm getting rid of. I've been reading this for years because it's a bind-up of all the stories, and I've been slowly making my way through it, and it's the complete Chronicles of Narnia. Again, I'm a bit sad about this one because this edition is gorgeous. I'll try to show you. It has like full-colored illustrations. Trying to hold this up because this book is very heavy. So the edition is gorgeous, but the Chronicle of Narnia, it's just a very outdated classic. Some classics stand the test of time. Chronicles of Narnia really doesn't. It has a lot of problematic elements throughout his stories. It has a lot of misogyny, a lot of racism. Something that bothered me that probably won't bother everyone is that they would talk about the talking animals. They would say like, oh, the talking animals are great, but animals who can talk, they're stupid, they're dumb. Kind of bothered me. C.S. Lewis apparently also has something against vegetarians. There's this character in the later books who was a vegetarian, and his parents were described as being progressive, but this kid was a very annoying kid, so it was Like C.S. Lewis was trying to tell us progressive people are bad with this character. And the only way this character learns to be a better person in the books is when he gets turned into a dragon and is forced to eat meat. And I was like, okay, C.S. Lewis, okay. The Christian messaging is very heavy in this one. The lion is Jesus. That's very clear. And that's just not my vibe. It's not that I like hated these books. I gave this overall a 3-star rating because it does have some merit. It's an important portal fantasy. I love portal fantasy. So there are definitely enjoyable elements in this. But from a modern perspective, I just couldn't look past the problematic things in this. So if it's something you're thinking of picking up, just be warned that that's something that's in there. If you think that will bother you too much, maybe skip this one. I do understand people who grew up with this and read this as a kid, that they love it, that they have a lot of nostalgia attached to it, but I only read it as an adult, and then it's hard to look past these things. So yeah, unfortunately it's beautiful. It's also very heavy. Took a lot of space on my shelf, so it has to go. The next one I'm also sad about because 1, it's pretty, and 2, it's by an author I've previously loved before, and that's Wood at Midwinter by Susanna Clarke. I've read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by her. I've also read Piranesi. Those were both like favorite books of those are favorite books of mine. But this I gave 3 stars. Like it was fine, but I didn't feel like it was written by the same person, to be honest. This is a short story set around Christmas also, so perfect to read in the winter, which I did. Finished it in one sitting. Took me like half an hour maybe. It has beautiful illustrations, again, just like Chronicles of Narnia. So, I don't know if you can see this. But, I don't know, this story felt flat. I don't really know what the point of this was. The afterword was more interesting than the story itself. And I think I would have liked this to be longer than it was. So unfortunately, this was a miss for me, and I'm sad to see it go because it's an author that I normally really enjoy. Another classic that I'm getting rid of, unfortunately, and another very pretty edition. Why am I getting rid of all the pretty books on my shelves? It's Little Women. Like, I love this cover. It's so beautiful. But this is only like the first part of the story, which is why it isn't as big as some of the bind-ups you will have seen. I enjoyed this. This is fine, but I thought I would love it more, to be honest. I'm a big Jane Austen fan, and for some reason I thought that Little Women would give me, like, not necessarily the same vibes, but that I would love it as much as I love Jane Austen. And maybe those expectations were just too high because, I don't know, it was fine. But I don't feel the need to read, to continue on and read the other stories about his family. So, I don't know, I'm just indifferent about it, so I'm getting rid of it. Next up is another Dutch book, but this one has been translated into English, and that's The Discomfort of Evening by Lucas Rijneveld. This was also a book I had on my shelves for a long time. I've been getting to a lot of these in 2025, which is good. There's still a lot of them that I haven't read. This one I also gave 3.5. I actually really enjoyed this one, but I didn't like the ending. It's about this family who live on a farm in the Netherlands, and the eldest son dies, and his family just can't cope with that. They don't talk about it. It's a very dysfunctional family, and the other children kind of get neglected by their parents, and they get more and more unhinged throughout the story. The family didn't communicate with each other, how there was no love, no communication. They couldn't talk about their feelings. That was all depicted very well, in my opinion. This is a literary fiction book, but it also reads kind of like a horror book because there are some very disturbing scenes in this, especially with animal abuse. So be warned if you want to read this. This has won the International Booker Prize. I enjoyed it. Didn't really like the ending. Don't think I will ever reread it, so it has to go. I will say this about like the most of this book. Like, it was fine, I liked it, but not going to read it, so getting rid of it. I will repeat myself a lot in this video, so just bear with me. Then we have 2 romance books. There's also a third in this series, but I can find it in this edition. So maybe I will listen to it in audio, not sure yet. And that's, now I have to think about it. It's called in English because I have the Dutch translations. Written in the Stars and Hang the Moon, I think these are called in English. This one I read a few years ago, and actually I enjoyed it. This is a sapphic, I wanted to say Pride and Prejudice retelling, but it's not really retelling. It's more like loosely inspired by Pride and Prejudice. Really enjoyed this one. This one is Hang the Moon, and it follows Darcy's brother and Darcy's best friend who fall in love. And this one I didn't like as much. It's not that I hated it, but it was just very forgettable, very middle of the road romance. Like this one more. The third book in the series is Sapphic again. Like I said, maybe I will listen to it in audio, but not really sure. It's not a priority for me. So I'm getting rid of these two. Okay. Then I'm getting rid of another series, a trilogy. And I'm actually a bit sad to see these go. The covers are gorgeous. And I actually really enjoyed these ones, but I just have to be brutal. I'm not going to reread them. They take up space on my shelf. So I think I to give them another home where they will maybe be loved more than by me. And that's the entire Bone Witch trilogy by Rin Chupeco. So the first book is The Bone Witch. Gorgeous. Then we have a second book, The Heart Forger. Also gorgeous. And the final book that I read this year, The Shadow Class. Oh God, I love these covers. I'm starting to doubt myself again, but no, they have to go. The first two in this series I gave 3.5 stars, and the last one I actually gave 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. This was a good conclusion to the trilogy. So I would recommend these actually. If you're looking for a good YA fantasy, it's also quite original, I would say. I'm not going to reread these, so unfortunately getting rid of the entire Bone Witch trilogy. The next one I'm not getting rid of because I didn't like it or that I'm not going to reread or anything like that. It's actually one of my favorite books, but I bought a special edition and I don't have the space to keep multiple editions, unfortunately, because I'm quite attached to this paperback of Bunny by Mona Watt. Like I said, it's one of my favorite books. And I read this. I tapped it. I don't know if you can see that. I love it so much. I'm really sad to see it go. But I just don't have the space to keep hardcover special edition and the paperback on my shelves. So I'm getting rid of this paperback. So sad about it. But if you're looking for some good, weird girl, dark academia horror, you have to read this. I know it's not for everyone, but if weird is your vibe, read this book. Then we have Deep End. When this was announced, I actually wasn't interested in reading it because it's a sport romance and that's just not something I gravitate towards. But then I found out the exploration of kink, or like the two characters explore kink together, and then I was like, okay, now I have to read it. The first part of this book, like the beginning, 5 stars. I was obsessed with this. I thought, okay, I finally found an Nellie Hazelwood book that I'm going to love. This is going to be one of my favorite romances. And then it let me down. It let me down so much. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars, but that's because like this first part, 5 stars, the last part, 3, maybe 2.5, I don't know. I ended up giving 3.5 overall. It's about Scarlett and Lucas. And Scarlett is a diver, Lucas is a swimmer. And Lucas is actually in a relationship with Scarlett's best friend, who is a horrible person. This is also something that annoyed me in this book, the third act conflict with the best friend. Why is Scarlett still friends with her? I don't get it. I thought she was terrible. Okay. Anyways. So Lucas is together with her best friend, but they're breaking up because they don't match sexually. And her, Scarlett's best friend confides in her that Lucas actually is into BDSM and kink, and that's just not her thing, that they've tried to keep their relationship for a long time, but they don't match. And then Scarlet is like, oh, I'm actually also into these things. I'm submissive, and Lucas is into being dominant. And then at a party, when the best friend is drunk, she tells Lucas and Scarlet, hey, you two should date because you're into the same stuff. Which obviously Scarlet and Lucas are a bit like, this is awkward. But eventually they agree to start a just sexual relationship. They fill out this questionnaire about their kinks, and it turns out they're like a complete match. Everything that Scarlet wants, Lucas wants to do to her, so it's perfect. And I was so excited about it. It's promised like these two were going to explore their kinks, they're going to try out things they haven't tried before, and where was it? Where was any of it? Ellie Hazelwood, what happened? You promised me tons of kinks, and where? But what bothered me the most was throughout this entire book, Lucas tells Scarlet multiple times, you would love to get tied up, don't you? Does Scarlet get tied up in this book? No, not once. Ellie Hazelwood, why are you promising me roleplay and then not deliver on it? What's wrong with you? So at the end of this book, their relationship is almost vanilla, which is fine. But again, don't promise me a ton of kink and then don't deliver on it. So that's really my problem with this book. It promised me something that it didn't give me. And I'm actually wondering, like, because Ellie Hazelwood is a very popular contemporary romance author, and yes, she's written some spicy books, but never anything like this. So I'm wondering, like, did her publisher tell her to tone it down or something? Did the rope scene get cut out? I don't know what happened, but I'm sad. Actually, I would like to see more books like this, where it's like a contemporary romance, but there's some kink elements to it. That I loved about this, and I think I would love to read more of those, because mostly when you're trying to find BDSM romances, you have to turn to dark romance. But I would love more books like this that are just a little bit better executed. So yeah, probably unpopular opinion, but Deep End has to go because it made me angry. Next up, we have Frankenstein in Baghdad. I read this for a book club. It was actually a very interesting discussion. I did like this book. It's obviously a Frankenstein retelling set in Baghdad during the war. But I did feel like some of the things in these books maybe went over my head. Just because I don't know a lot about the history. It was interesting, did like it, but I don't think I will reread it. So it's just like, again, kind of middle of the road book for me that I don't have a lot to say about. Now we have another one that I will probably go on a bit of a rant about. And this one I actually disliked. This was one of my worst books of the year again, and that's The Baby Dragon Café. I'm very angry at this book because I feel like this cover, it's very cute, right? Very cute cover. This cover, it's a trap. Don't read this book. Like, Deep End, I'm angry at, but I can see how other people would enjoy it more than I did. And like the first part I loved. But this, I wouldn't recommend this to anyone. I'm sorry. This book is just everything that's popular. So think cozy fantasy, romantasy, small town romance, dragons, Grumpy Sunshine, only one bed, fake dating. All of these things just put into one book, but that's it. It's just the tropes. The writing was so juvenile. Like, this is supposed to be an adult book. It read like not even a YA, I would say. It was so juvenile. The romance was pretty cringy. There was a lot of telling and not showing. The fake dating, it came out of nowhere, and I was like, oh my god, do we really have to put in another trope in this book? And there's nothing wrong with all of these tropes. I can enjoy these tropes, but this read like an outline of a book and not an actual book. I'm sorry. And it has been translated into Dutch, and I'm like, how is this a book that gets translated? There are so many incredible books out there that don't get translation deals, and how does this book get a translation deal? I'm really mad at this book. Don't read it. Wouldn't recommend it. Graveyard Shift by Emil Rio. So that's the same author as the book If We Were Villains, which is a book I really enjoyed. It's not my favorite Dark Academia, but I really liked it. It's still on my shelf. Going to keep it. I've read it twice already. And this is a little novella. Also has a little bit of dark academia vibes. But yeah, it was fine. Read it in one day. Actually enjoyed it. The average rating on Goodreads is really low. And I do think it deserves more than that. This was just fine when I read it. But I do like this cover actually. So yeah, Graveyard Shift by ML Rio has to go. Next up we have Love Me Do. A little bit sad about this one because I got it in London and it's signed. But this is another one that's just okay for me, actually. It's a cute summer romance. I read a lot of Lindsay Cloud books, actually. And they're always like 3 stars or 3.5 star books. I like them, but I don't love them. But they're quick reads. They're good palate cleansers for me. I would recommend this still. Then we have a cute young adult romance with Dungeons and Drama. It's a Dungeons and Dragons romance. Very cute, very floppy, very enjoyable to read. But cute but forgettable. So I would still recommend this if you're looking for a quick palate cleanser, if you're looking for something cute and fun. Like I said, I have to get rid of some books because I don't have the space and I don't think I will reread this one. So then we have The Absolute Book. And this one, I think this one might be my actual worst book of the year. So even worse than Quicksilver. But this one isn't an unpopular opinion, I feel like, because I've looked at the ratings on Goodreads and they're actually pretty low. A lot of people have marked it as DNF'd, which I understand. This book is like a slog to get through. It's very hard to read. I actually didn't know anything about this book when I picked it up. I just saw it in the bookstore, was intrigued by the title and the cover, read the back. Sounded like right up my alley, actually. A bit of dark academia vibes. And now I have to think because, like I said, I've forgotten, like, I've just erased this book from my mind, I feel like. Very intriguing. And the beginning was intriguing, but then it was just so boring. It dragged on and on and on. I don't know. I would not recommend this. Next up, we have one that I, again, actually enjoyed. I think I also gave this one 3.5 stars. Like I said, most of these books are like 3.5 stars, books I liked, but not going to keep them. And that's My Darling Dreadful Thing by Johanna van Veen. This was also for a book club. This is a gothic horror. It has ghosts in it. It's also sapphic. So yeah, enjoyable. Not really doing anything new in the genre, I feel like, so just fine. But I would still recommend this one if you're interested in reading gothic horror. Next one is a YA that is beautifully written. That's the best part about this book, was how beautiful it was. It has a lot of, it's very quotable. And I fell in love with Hope. I thought at the beginning of this book that this would be a book that I would keep on my shelves, but at the end, I wasn't really sure about it anymore. Like I said, the writing is beautiful. I did like the characters, following the characters. This is very character driven. It's about these kids in a hospital. They all have chronic illnesses. A lot of representation. You don't always exactly know what they have. And it's about this kind of found family between these kids. Like I said, it's beautifully written. But at the end, I'm not really sure if I liked it, but I'm not really able to talk about it without spoiling anything. So yeah, if you're looking for something that is very beautifully written and really poetic, I would still recommend this. Maybe you will like it more than I did. But yeah, I would probably read something else by this author. We finally have the last book in this stack. I feel like I've been talking for ages now. And that's Saint Death's Daughter. This was another disappointing fantasy read, actually. It's also a big one. This also kind of put me in a reading slump. This is about a necromancer that's allergic to her own magic. Like, that's so interesting already. Again, this one was pretty boring to me, even though the setup sounded interesting. It does have a little bit of like Addams Family vibes. Didn't really like it that much. Don't have anything more to say, I think. That's it. those are the 26 books that I want to get rid of. I have a book swap next week. I might try to sell some of them. Probably will take most of them to my local secondhand bookstore and turn them in for store credit. So if you're interested in seeing a second-hand book haul when I do that, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you've read any of these books, what you thought of them. Did you like them? Or do you agree with me? If you haven't subscribed already and you would like to see more bookish content from me, please do. Please hit that subscribe button and I will see you in whatever comes next.